Ladies and gentlemen, Six Fig Stock Trader here on YouTube and YouTube only, May 18th, 9:43 a.m. Central Time. Let's go. We're looking at a daily chart of Bitcoin, but we're going to be talking CKB eventually here. I think it's important for us to take a peek at Bitcoin just to see where this market maker is going. Now, after kind of studying some data points in 2013, 17, and 2020, I was able to come up with this Fibonacci channel. And as you can see, Bitcoin has pretty much obeyed this channel very nicely. And with that said, I'm very confident that it will continue to trade within this channel as it has done for the last 8 years. So we may be able to draw some very nice, comparisons between this last bull market cycle and the current one that we're in. Now, one thing I do want to point out, if we look back, in the last few months, we can definitely see Elliott wave theory appear here. That's great news to see. We can see a healthy rejection at the 50% line, followed by a very sharp retracement. Same thing with this 61.8 line here. A very heavy retracement. Now we are coming down to test this 200 moving average. So when you look at this here, keep this fresh in your mind right now. So going back to this 2017 bull run, we can definitely see how there are some similarities here. But there is one irregularity. And the similarity is that we came up, tested this 50% line, had a very sharp correction, 35-40%. Same thing with the 61.8 line, tested it a few times, and it struggled a little bit more than the 50% line, but then we had a very nasty correction. I mean, we went from 5,000 to almost 2,900. So about a 35% retracement, maybe 40. But then Bitcoin really rallied and just kind of took off to this 100% level. Didn't even stop for the 78.6. The part that concerns me with where we are at right now is that nowhere in this bull run really did we come close to physically checking the 200 moving average until the blow off top happened. We can definitely see how it came down, blew right through the 200, bounced off the 61.8 line, and came back up and checked the 78.6. So if you get my drift here, this is where we are kind of at a fork in the road. It's a double-edged sword kind of situation. We need to see what happens with Bitcoin. We need to see Bitcoin play out a little bit further to make sure that we're not getting played right here at this point in the market cycle. I'm hoping, folks, that we are at this point in the market cycle and we're seeing this correction. Maybe we'll bounce off this 200 and go into a complete, vertical, price action, the moon. So when I'm seeing Bitcoin kind of do this, it's sending me mixed signals. And obviously, if Bitcoin decides to rally here, we can definitely see, how high up this price might in fact go. So, we'd be looking at a $500,000 Bitcoin if we see some sort of repeat, in that sense. Well, let's just go ahead and measure this just to get an accurate percentage. It may not be a $500,000, about 560%, which would put us at about, we may end up seeing a top around, let's see here. We may end up seeing a top, if I can get this ruler ready. Let's just go 600%, somewhere in there. Somewhere in the neighborhood of $276,000 Bitcoin if history kind of repeats itself in the same fashion that it did in 2017. So, I mean, that's hard to kind of think about right now, but if the bull market goes on for another 4 or 5 months and we see Bitcoin really pump, I mean, we're looking at a $4 or $5 trillion market cap at this point. That seems crazy, but I don't think that it's really out of I don't really think that it's out of the question that we couldn't see that. I think serious FOMO starts kicking in, folks, and people are going to be dumping into Bitcoin left and right. But like I said before, we need to kind of see where this market is at. Are we going to check this 200 moving average with Bitcoin, or are we not? And when we see price action come up over this 50 moving average and kind of come straight down through the 200, that's a pretty bad death cross. And that's not a good sign for any asset. Let's move over to CKB. Bear with me, folks. And so CKB, we can definitely see on the daily chart, we have a little bit of resistance on this trend line coming upwards here. So that's good to see. I want to just flip over to a 12-hour chart. There we go. A little indecisiveness. We got a green spinning top. What I want to see is at least 3 full body candles appear on the daily chart, or the 12-hour chart for that matter. I prefer it on the daily chart. 3 full body candles with no wicks on the bottom. And I want to see an uptrend start. And I want to see some Elliott wave theory get us to this point here or here. Like I said, I've mentioned this June 5th, June 6th date before. I do think that this date is still relevant as far as a pivot point up here or down here. So, what happens in the meantime, nobody will know. But like I said, in the next 3 days, we should have a better understanding. Are we going to hold this 200 moving average or are we not? And I think Bitcoin at this point in time is really going to dictate that. So what we have going on now is a symmetrical triangle, which is also known as a holding pattern. So we'll see what happens. No guarantees, but once we get out here into July, if we follow into this symmetrical triangle, we may see a significant increase in price action on CKB. So there's really not a whole lot more for me to talk about right now other than, hey, we're checking the 200 moving average. That's good news. We're seeing a green spinning top. That's good news. We need to wait at least a couple more days. We'll still do videos just to kind of provide a daily update, but I hope you guys can kind of see, the drawing or the writing on the wall when I'm comparing CKB's price action to Bitcoin. So I'm thinking tomorrow we will go in and compare, this is going to sound silly, but comparing market dominance to CKB and Bitcoin to see if we can discover any patterns there at all. I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that we will see CKB overtake Bitcoin in market dominance. I'm laughing at that right now. But it would be nice to see an increase in market dominance, to CKB, for CKB, maybe to Bitcoin, maybe to ADA, maybe to some of these other altcoins that specialize, in similar, blockchains. Really, folks, I truly appreciate all the support that you guys have given this channel, the love. Smash the like button if you liked this TA on CKB and Bitcoin today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you all. Let's try to hit 6,000 by the end of the week. We're about a week and a half ahead of schedule. So thank you guys, and we'll catch you guys later.